I've called Tenkaichi the most underrated fighting series many times, but now that's about to change. The anime for this tournament manga has been officially confirmed, and we only have one more fight remaining in round 1 of the tournament. So today I'll be reviewing the latest 2 matches and breaking down everything we currently know about the anime, which may require us to invest all of our stocks into Fuma for its success. We know she has the potential in many ways, so hopefully it ensures the gooners working on various anime lock in with the animation. But as of the release of today's video, we do not have any release date for Tenkaichi's anime or any information about what studio will be animating it, just official confirmation that the series is more so green-lit to get an adaptation, which likely means the studios are bidding on to get the chance of adapting it. Therefore, I truly hope we are not done dirty like with all these other fighting manga, and perhaps for once we get one that isn't involved with Netflix at all. That would probably be for the best, and I truly believe if Tenkaichi gets a good adaptation, it has a very high chance to blow up much more, with it still being quite a niche series within the fighting manga community. I do have a playlist going over my initial reviews of the first 5 rounds, but today I'm going to be breaking down the latest 2, which have once again been quite insane. But first, a quick reminder of the fights thus far. The first one was Honda vs Masashi Miyamoto, where the legendary samurai was able to claim victory. Then Fuma vs Toda, my probably favourite fight still to this day, where Fuma got that insane victory. Then the most disappointing fight, William Adams vs Yagu, where this monster was able to acquire victory. Then another fight many rate as potentially one of the best, the legendary Sword Dude vs the Sumo Boy, where Hino was able to claim victory. Then Sasaki Kojiro vs Hanzo, quite a wild and mysterious fight in its unique ways, where Hanzo was able to acquire victory, with other characters making their moves in the background as well. And now it's time to go over Togo vs Yasuke, once again a unique fight in many ways, with us learning right away that Togo has insane power and one-shot capabilities, while Yasuke is a warrior under Oda, who alongside Hino is someone people argue right now has the potential to be the strongest, setting him up as greatly respected and a powerful Imperial Guard, outright called the strongest living shield, which is quite sick all things considered, and his goal relates to creating an era of peace. And one last scene for his setup hype, seemingly being able to block Yagu's attack, the one most viewed right now as the strongest in the tournament. But when it comes to the arena of this battle, a unique and great factor with Tenkaichi that keeps the fights more unique throughout, we have one that looks quite small and brings us to the 6th fight, the human cleaver wielding this Giga Sword versus the indomitable Fortress with this Giga Shield, and already has an insane feat of speed, which has led Yagu to have the desire to fight him, an important aspect to consider a character's overall power or a way to gauge it. But this fight features the strongest defense versus the strongest offense, and begins with this mad lad preparing for a one-shot blow. So much aura that Yagu already claims that Togo, with that stance alone, the burst of power within that one strike could outmatch the godly strength of Hino. But regardless of all this insanity, Yasuke was able to stop his slash. A great start and first clash of this round, a lot of tension, with both of their flashbacks providing enough insight about their characters and fighting style. You could say some more about Togo or maybe even Yasuke in his early days would be cool, but I'm guessing that's going to come in the future somewhat, in the later rounds potentially. But I can't say I have any complaints with those aspects, with the next clash beginning right away and features Togo using the ground to outplay the shield goon. Damage has indeed been dealt, but Yasuke is locked in now and reveals his speed and offense that comes when using the shield, evolving the fight into a clash with a katana and a cannon, with the commentary from Yagyu being very important for this round when it comes to both warriors' perceived strength within this verse, with Yasuke returning the favour by landing big here, with Togo's next response delving more into his insanity and willingness to put everything into a single slash. Just look at this art. I hope the studio who gets to do that anime is capable of adapting manga with such a detail, with it being set up that the next clash could very well be the conclusion of this fight. Remember, Togo can pretty much one-shot anyone and begins with pure insanity, cinema you could say, with this eerie next level panel as Togo has become one with his katana. At least that was his ultimate goal and dream you could say. Yasuke has done a pure madness and did this. A speechless moment you could say, but no one expected what was still coming. Togo in this state was still going for another cut. His soul has seemingly taken over, his aura remains, but it all ends as the legend stands strong with his sword like this. Yasuke has won, but will never forget this battle, and while yes it was short, I would say without a doubt one of the most intense thus far in the Tenkaichi tournament. A great change of pace, but round 7 is up next and features my GOAT, who I actually predicted to win this entire tournament in my videos a few years back, and is already dropping some peak lines, claiming, push the human being to its limit, and you could even kill a god, you love to see it. With his fight against the monk boy being the first one that's actually indoors, once again an interesting factor that may play a role in the fight. And while being biased going into it, his introduction as the jewel of martial arts talent is pretty cool, and he's definitely powerful without a doubt, and likely to be one of the most unique fighters in the tournament as well. However, unfortunate for him, he is up against the God Slayer himself, Jinsuke, who indeed is going to slay the monk throughout this round. Therefore, the 7th match begins. The God Slayer is already showing his insane confidence up against the monk's spear, but both of them very clearly wield impressive aura in their own regard. However, the God Slayer clearly has him beat, at least when it comes to the most important aspect, that being absolutely cold. You love to see it. So with the official attacks being thrown to begin the fight, we see that speed will be a main factor in this battle. The monk is circling him, but Jinsuke has not moved from his one position, being able to dodge, parry and block all of the spear attacks, highlighting that yes, the monk has impressive range, but to deal real damage, he has to enter the Swordmaster's domain, and that's where the real danger awaits. With Bro continuing to be beyond cold no matter what, a great start of the fight, a dangerous first blow has landed, where he claims the spaces between moments of time invisible to the human eye, that is what my sword cuts away. Bro is indeed overpowered, as I was exactly waiting for, and transitions us into his flashback or lore, how he became recognized as the God Slayer, alongside highlighting the difference that comes when the opponent has much more experience and is definitely a more aged warrior, one that isn't so old where he's way out of his prime against one that still hasn't reached their peak power. A true master is here, and so is a real prodigy who can continue to evolve in the middle of a battle. Anything can truly happen, which will get demonstrated as the monk begins to change compared to a wild animal as he lands blows on the Swordmaster, dealing damage little by little, surpassing his expectations in every regard. The story providing the monk's flashback, where we learn that yes, he's a prodigy, but even more so a chosen one, something you could say is beyond that, and is actually dominating my GOAT during the early stages of the fight here. His speed, wildness, ability to lock in is truly unmatched. However, using the arena and one's experience will always be a factor that can even out the playing field. The monk's spear was knocked into the air, but somehow, some way, he was always aware of the location it was going to land, placing his body in the exact position required for the spear to block the Swordmaster's slash. Absolute insanity, and pretty much leaves everyone watching stunned, continuing to claim, if you couldn't figure that out, your sword won't touch me ever again. The monk boy is indeed overpowered. However, he's not the only one in this battle who can continue evolving. Jinsuke locks in even more, manages to land a slash, and reveals that he has the capabilities not just to reach the monk's level, but to outright surpass him. The God Slayer is here in full might. But for the time being, anything can happen. Many exchanges throughout this battle feature them using the floor and other aspects of the indoor arena, something great about Tenkaichi I need to mention every time. Both have suffered pretty even damage going into the final clashes of the two. A great fight all things considered, but the deciding factor was pretty much this. Which of the two monsters is more locked in? Who can truly reach the greater heights? Where we get one of the coldest panels of this fight, the monk trying to evolve even further to win this fight. However, we see the young Jinsuke already way above him as he lands the final slash. I was very glad when I read the fight that my boy was able to win and has made it into round 2. Meaning the fight so far will be Masashi Miyamoto vs Fuma, Yagyu vs Hino, something that's going to be absolutely wild, Hanzo vs Yasuke, Jinsuke against whoever wins the final clash. My prediction is on this dude like most people, but anything can truly happen in Tenkaichi. And with that, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Check out the playlist of all the other Tenkaichi review videos. Shout out to these mad lads, the channel members, and that's it guys, peace.